What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. A story that hit the media in 2015. A missing 17-year-old out of Texas, Houston area. Um, I have a intro video, and then we're going to get right into the police press conference that then goes into a outside press conference that is had by Rudy's aunts. Honestly, it was the ants that grabbed my attention. Um, I was watching it this morning, and I said, "Wow, this is I this is something I want to look at." Um, but I want to say hello to everybody out in chat. Thank you guys for being here, members, subscribers, moderators. You guys know I love you. Tonight I have the one of a two-part episode. So this is happening that I'm breaking away to do this in between editing my video for it's a two-parter for the Brent Kapaka portion of what's been going on with the Idaho 4 case. So those of you guys that aren't busy later on, join. But yep, thank you guys for being here. Let's take a look, though. I have an intro video, and then we're going to get into it.
Texas man last seen 8 years ago has been found safe. Rudy Farias was 17 years old when he was reported missing. Corley Peel reported.
For Farias.
I can't even tell you how many times we've searched and how many leads and tips came in, and then they just kind of faded away, and we heard nothing, and now all of a sudden this.
Investigators say he disappeared in March 2015. He was last seen walking his two dogs. The dogs were found, but Farias was not. At the time, loved ones said he suffered from PTSD, depression, and asthma.
I'm scared because he's out there alone by himself.
Miller says they followed up on every tip.
In the very beginning, I met with a family and detectives out there by his house where he disappeared, and we found a backpack. We actually talked to somebody who had one of the catering trucks, which felt as though that they saw him and stuff. Then there was different possible sightings in different places.
Miller says he never would have imagined Farias is still alive.
I think now, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of investigation to kind of see what happened, where it happened, how it happened.
Neighbors took video of Rudy Farias' mother loading up a car in her driveway Tuesday night.
When he first went missing, he didn't report it to the police, and they're trying to say that he might have done some crimes, which he didn't, and now they want to arrest me because they said I was hiding him.
Her 25-year-old son vanished 8 years ago at age 17.
When the now 25-year-old was finally found outside a church in East Houston. But in a twist, Farias may not have been missing at all.
I knew something was wrong with the story. When she was questioned, when they found him, he had her credit card in his pocket. She just canceled that credit card 2.5 years ago. So if he's been missing for 8 years, how the hell he get your credit card in his pocket? When they found him, she would take him to work with her, and he would do the required work she was supposed to do. And a lot of the responsibilities of her job was on him. No child should ever be treated like that by your own mother. This young man said that when he initially ran away, he came back 2 days later, and she told him that he had to hide, that he was going to get in trouble.
Welcome to Truth and Transparency. We're going to take a look at Rudy's case. Rudy's case has more holes than Swiss cheese, and it smells just as bad as Swiss cheese. We're going to start with, how does a mother, once her son makes his way back within 2 days, doesn't just go to the police department to say, hey, my boy's home. Thank you for all your work. Why would a mom continue to hide her son, make it seem like he's still missing, and do all of this? Not only does she do this, but then how do police and investigators and anybody on this case that was helping and donating their time, money, and resources not catch on to the fact that Rudy came back in 2 days? Those are the new allegations that since Rudy has been found, he spoke to investigators, he spoke to an activist, and new information is being revealed. But for me, I don't believe that a mother could keep her kid hidden if there's a open and active investigation with multiple agencies, unless you're being, helped in some capacity. But then, what's the motive once your son does come home, to continue on this path? And should there be any consequences on the amount of resources that were spent on this case for 8 years? I believe that the only way that this would be possible is if you had help and there'd be a motive, and the only motive in my mind would be financial. So let's find out about the Rudy case, and let's find out about why all these new allegations are coming out, with Rudy's aunts speaking on the fact that their own sister was being aided by the Houston Police Department.
This is true, like, where were investigators? We know that family members called in 2018. Quan LX claims that Rudy told him that he was told to hide in the house. Did investigators thoroughly check the house? There's
investigators who. Lieutenant.
I'm going to bring the investigator up, and we'll hold up, Mario. I'm going to bring the investigator up, and we're going to entertain all questions at the end about the dash cams and also this investigation. So we'll entertain everything at the end. Come on.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. I'm Lieutenant Zamora with the Homicide Division Missing Persons Unit. To my left, I have Detective Sergeant Jimenez.
This is
Detective
wild.
Brian Ford and Detective Atlanta Claiborne. Today, we're discussing facts related to 25-year-old Rudy Farias, who was reported missing on March 7th, 2015. He was 17 years old when his mother reported him missing. During the 8-year time frame where he was missing, investigators followed up on many tips, leads, collected evidence, proving that Rudy was not missing during the 8-year period. Many of these facts included contacts and statements with relatives, friends, neighbors, and medical professionals. Rudy was recently identified as having previous HPD interactions, meaning that he made contact with patrol officers out on the street. However, during these contacts, fictitious names and date of births were given, misleading the officers, and Rudy would remain missing. In fact, both Janie, Rudy's mother,
You don't have to give your idea.
fictitious names while interacting with various patrol officers. After investigators talked with him yesterday, it was discovered that Rudy returned home the following day on March 8th, 2015. The mother, Janie, continued to deceive police by remaining adamant that Rudy was still missing. She alleged her nephew was the person friends and family were seeing coming and going. However, we disputed that. Currently, the DA has declined any charges at this time for making fictitious reports and failure to ID. Investigators have reached out to Adult Protective Services. HPD Victim Services has reached out. We've also connected Rudy with victim services to ensure that he has a method to recover. Now, based on Rudy's interview, there were no reports of sexual abuse reported. If there is a disclosure made, we will continue to investigate. Currently, the investigation is active and there are new leads coming in. We'll continue to follow those leads. We do take all allegations seriously, and any new information or facts that we receive will be investigated.
Thank you, Lieutenant. One question at a time, please.
Oh,
Do
no.
not yell them out.
I'm gonna let him translate, then we're gonna do it.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Buenos días y gracias a todos por estar aquí. Antes de hablar sobre el caso involucrando a la persona desaparecida Rudy Farias, vamos a hablar un poquito sobre un asunto que ha aparecido en las noticias, que es referente a las cámaras montadas en el tablero de los vehículos policíacos. Queremos avisarles que de todos los vehículos que tenemos en nuestra flota, no todos necesitan una cámara montada. Muchos vehículos son usados en investigaciones, no hacen paros de detención de tráfico y esos no necesitan cámaras montadas. También si son vehículos que van a ir a asuntos comunitarios, esos vehículos no necesitan cámaras montadas. Lo que sí podemos decirles que de los que sí necesitan cámaras montadas, el 50% de nuestros vehículos tienen esas cámaras y estamos trabajando con el alcalde que nos ha dado $2 millones para ponerle las cámaras al resto de nuestros vehículos. Aproximadamente 143 vehículos van a ser, se les va a agregar esa cámara montada y esperamos acabar con el resto de la flota cuando haya fondos necesarios. Ahora, referente al...
So basically, here in the beginning of this press conference, they say that they spoke with Rudy and he didn't say anything to do about any type of abuse or anything like that. I did not take that many years worth of Spanish, so what he is saying, though, in Spanish is what the investigator, lead detective, said in English. Thank you guys for being here. Truth and transparency. This is the press conference. The chief then goes here to have a Q&A. And then we get over to the answer outside of where this press conference is being held. And then they take over with the media and go ham. Proud of these women. I mean, these were all of Rudy's aunts. We're going to hear from them. And what they are alleging has been taking place. And they allege that the Houston Police Department was helping their sister, Rudy's mom, keep this all hush-hush. They use the word cover for her. So.
De asistencia a víctimas se les va a proporcionar. ¿Okay? No se les ha dado ninguna, el procurador, la oficina del procurador no ha aceptado ningún cargo en este momento. Gracias.
That's good. Welcome. All right, so here we go.
Basically, what we're saying is our investigation is our investigation, and we treat it the same. We're gonna, our investigators were in the room, and basically, you know, what they heard and what they interviewed, that's what we attest to in our offense reports and our investigations. And I'm not here, neither are they here to question anybody's integrity, but our integrity with the Houston Police Department stands, and we're gonna report and put in offense reports what a victim or a potential victim tells us, okay?
But just to be clear, in that room, the detective did not hear anything about sexual abuse allegations.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sergeant Stephen Jimenez. Yes, I interviewed him, and no, there was no, you know, I'm trained to listen for probable cause. I'm trained to listen for statements that can help me get charges or move forward with the case. And no, there was no statements made.
Wow.
During this investigation so far, no.
Thank you. Next question. Go ahead, Maria.
This police chief is crazy.
Wait a minute. Go ahead. We get it.
That is correct, coming from Rudy Farias.
Was there any conversation?
Okay.
So we don't release any type of information related to sexual assaults. That's just state law. I
Okay.
can't comment on that.
Go ahead.
Is Rudy a victim then in all of this, or did he and his mother work together? I mean, he wasn't missing.
The investigation is still going on, Courtney, and I'm not going to say that he's a victim or not. I'm thinking, and saying we're going to treat this just as we do with any potential victim or victim, and we're going to give respect to everybody that's involved. We're going to conduct our investigation, and we're kind of right at the beginning of it. This investigation is going to go on after this press conference. Sorry. If charges are appropriate, they'll see. But let us conduct the investigation. And what's next, Courtney? Just as any other investigation, we're going to follow our evidence. We're going to do more.
He knows everybody on first name basis, by the way. Mario.
Go ahead.
Chief, can you say, were there any signs of mental illness, that he might be mentally ill, that his mother might be mentally ill?
We're not going to say
can't
that
talk about
right
that.
now. Anyway, we're going to conduct the investigation. It's really too early to determine that. There are going to be some more parts to the investigations, and some of that may come into play. But right now,
Just because there were some other allegations that he had been held prisoner, that he had been taken to Mexico, is there any indication that that was true, or was that allegedly?
Lieutenant.
That would have been kidnapping, right?
That'd be kidnapping.
We don't have any information to say that there was any kind of kidnapping or anything like that right now.
Okay.
Have any search warrants been served?
So
I think so. No search warrants.
No, at the time he was reported missing 8 years ago, being missing is not a crime. So the detectives had no lawful means or probable cause to issue a search warrant for the residence, which was searched several times.
We're going to work our way down, and we'll get back to you. Go ahead. Yes. There's no permanent timeline. As you can imagine, there's a cost to it, and there are some complications. And give you one just quick thing, a challenge. 200 of our vehicles are model 2014 are older. That's a challenge. I'm not, when we're up against a financial budget like we are, you got to pick and choose, and you got to prioritize some things. So, but as quickly as funding comes in, we're going to work to getting all of our patrol vehicles and those vehicles that come into contact with the public with dash cams. But I want people to realize one thing: 100% of our officers that's out there on the streets have body-worn cameras on, 100%. And we know for a fact that if you would choose dash cams, I'd love to have both systems, okay, 100%. But once you get out that car where most things happen in interaction, hand-to-hand, I want that body-worn camera. But as we get funding in, and as I said, the mayor is stepping up, and like he always does, but he can only do so much. This funding issue didn't start, and I'm gonna say this: I stay away from politics, okay? But the citizens in Houston, at some point in time, we're gonna have to really face how we're gonna properly fund public safety and public servants, okay? Because
what does this have to do
fire
with
trucks, you need better equipment. We can't keep kicking that can down the street. We're gonna have to talk about things of a revenue cap. But we'll leave it to the politicians. Next question. Go ahead.
I heard you mention that there was no search warrant. In between yesterday and the day that he was discovered, was anything searched? Was anybody questioned? Anybody go about the house?
Rudy and his mother were interviewed yesterday. As far as anyone going to the house, it's still active investigation. We can't release details.
they were there last night or the night before they did this? There was a crime scene
Yes, sir,
unit
that's
there.
correct. He's
25 now. Yeah. Go ahead, Mario. I get you. Hold up. Go ahead.
Here's Mario.
That was in March 7th, 2015.
So there was a missing persons report that was filed.
Correct.
And so this is what I'm asking. Could the mother be detained for filing a missing persons report?
He was missing for 2 days.
Yes, she could be reported or detained. That offense is a Class C misdemeanor, which is similar to a traffic citation.
Right.
Rudy
Go ahead.
Farias was found on Thursday. Your investigators spoke to him nearly a week later. Do you think it was a mistake not to speak to him sooner? You said yourself the DA has not accepted charges. That's a week where evidence could be destroyed. What's your response to that?
So it's procedure for the investigation to go through a channel, and when it reaches us, we review it. There was no urgency to investigate a recovered or found person. And I say that because patrol officers made contact with him. They ensured that he was safe. They contacted HFD to make sure that he didn't need medical treatment, and he was cleared on scene by HFD. He refused transportation to the hospital. His mother took him to the hospital later on that evening.
What the lieutenant said, I think, is important. You can't force a potential victim of a missing person, okay, with nothing else to come in and give a statement. So it takes time to try to work with people to get that statement. Okay.
I know you believe in transparency, and I just, for the public, we're going to put this on the news and cause more questions because we hear from the activists who makes these shocking allegations.
How did the mother keep the son hidden for in the initial stages of this investigation back 8 years ago?
Transparency doesn't come in front and maintaining the integrity of the investigation, and that's where my transparency stops. But and I'm gonna. That's the last question I'm gonna ask about the activists or anybody else. You know, we're gonna follow our investigation, and we treat it the same. Everybody has a role in society, and we respect everybody, including our activists. But the integrity of the investigation is number one, and we're gonna maintain that. Okay. Yeah. I don't think so. Go ahead. Anybody?
Do you know where's Rudy at this moment and his mom?
Yes, we do. Rudy's safe. He is with his mother by choice.
Yeah.
He's a 25-year-old man.
Right. Hey, we're going to get a few more. Mario right here, and then we're going to work our way down. Probably 4 more, and we're going to wrap. I said potential victim, and I want to be respectful on that. Yeah. 17. Yeah.
There's been cases in the past where people have been brainwashed, where people have been told not, and they're being held against their will. For everyone that's going to be watching this worldwide, because this is a worldwide story, how do you not separate him until you guys are able to get everything together, considering that he disappeared as a child?
Mario, you've been in the business for a long time, and I'm gonna let you answer that. Okay, we've explained everything, some of the challenges or whatnot. Here's a fact:
Mario is a reporter.
He's a grown man. 20. Listen to what I'm saying. If you want me to answer you. No, he was an adult, 17. Hold up. Okay.
In Texas.
Not confrontational. You know, I respect what everybody does. Okay. But 17 years old, that's an adult in the state of Texas. Okay. A lot of things that we shared up here. So we're going to work our way through it. It takes a little while. There's a lot of development still, even last night. Okay. We know that. Everything's coming up. We're going to investigate it. The integrity is going to stay in place. We're going to treat him the same as any other person that comes through that we're conducting investigation on. I'm done with that part. Go ahead, Courtney. Go ahead.
What?
Okay. Anybody?
And I'm done with that part.
I can answer that though. I mean, to protect, we can't predict motivation or whatnot. We could just try to, yeah, right, yeah. But you know, during the interview and the particulars of it, it's active investigation. We respect that, but can't. Yeah. Next question. Yeah. We wasn't just doing 8 years total investigation. Okay, so it went dormant for a little bit, but the case was still open. Okay, and I want to say this: until we find people, until we clear it, that's when it should be cleared. But if your question is, we expended some resources. Absolutely, yes. No, you're prioritizing. Okay, we're in a budget that there are challenges. Okay, and what I've presented, and we'll side note this. Okay, because it takes a little while to explain it. When you have challenges, people look at a $1 billion budget. Okay, and everybody just, oh my God, HPD has a lot of money. 92% of that goes to salary and benefits, so it's not a whole lot of money. We have to pay our people, and we have to be competitive. The mayor just gave 7.2 million so we can get more cadets in. So there are a lot of challenges. What I'm saying is, this didn't happen just in the mayor's administration. For years, you need so much amount, 14 million. I always talk about that, to properly replace vehicles in our fleet. But some years when things are just, you got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, when you don't get that, it kicks it back and it makes it worse. We have an aging fleet. 50% of our vehicles, are a little bit more, are beyond
What is this
the
about?
replacement life.
What
That's patrol
is this
vehicles,
about?
100,000 miles, 5 years. Unmarked vehicles, 120,000
Basically,
miles,
he's saying, hey guys,
7
it's not
years.
safe in
Okay,
Houston.
so we have a very
You
aging
got no
fleet
money.
and a lot of other problems. So we will prioritize, and we're going to get there where we need to. But I'll side state. Go ahead. Yes.
This is so strange. I agree.
No, we're not going to say anything. Let me get you, and then I'm going to get you. You're going to be the last one. Go ahead.
Let me get you.
We can. It's a call for service.
Yeah.
There was a burglary report last night at the house. Patrol responded, and we were alerted because it was a house of note, and it's been part of the investigation, and that is also now part of our investigation. It's still going.
Thank you.
They sent a crime scene unit.
So it is a criminal offense to give false names when you're detained under arrest or you're making a valid police report. There was an instance where he did that, him and his mother. At this time, though, the district attorney has declined to accept charges on that until our entire investigation has been complete. It was, the facts were presented to the district attorney.
Mario, we're going to end it. Okay, go ahead.
HFD, I'm sorry, excuse me. Investigators did go out to the home multiple times. They talked to various.
In the beginning, he came right back. How do you guys not know that he was
friends,
not missing?
Neighbors, and yes, they were given a fictitious name.
Let me close with this one thing, okay? Let me close.
This is the most
Mario
debacle
look,
situation.
We've been open as we can. It's not our first investigation, and everybody here understands what I'm saying about the integrity investigation. This is where we're going to end. We wanted to get up before a lot because this has come as not only a local, but a national, in some cases international, okay, because of everything that's going on. But it ends today, not our investigation, but as we get more information and when it's appropriate, we'll send out information. Okay, so I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you for your patience.
What is going
thank y'all for what you do every day. Yeah.
What is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're done.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. Thank y'all.
That's it. Okay, so then this is what. just blew us out. Okay, so then this is what happens. Okay, this is what's crazy is then basically after this happens, the aunts are outside and the media gets them and they're like none of this is true. So we're going to listen to what the aunts have to say. And what the aunts have to say is completely just well, let's just let you guys hear what the aunts have to say. Again, welcome to Truth and Transparency. This is pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. So here we go.
He did not reveal any information about sexual abuse related to his mother in the conversations they had with him yesterday. Now, you'll remember Quanell X came out yesterday in a press conference and said he was in those conversations with investigators, with Rudy, with Janie Santana, the mother, and that in a private moment where there was another investigator in the room, Quanell X said Rudy confided to him that his mother had drugged him and sexually assaulted him. Now, Houston police are saying there is no evidence of that. Their investigators did not hear any allegations of sexual abuse from Rudy.
Yeah, check this out.
Looks like we just lost our signal there, and it looks like the family is speaking right now. Let's go ahead and hear from
one
them.
of Janie's friends. She's
Second word from what we know of.
She took Rudy yesterday from the hotel. So like the chief of police said that Rudy is with his mother. He needs to get the facts straight. Rudy is not with his mother. He is with this other friend who has known and had Rudy in her possession.
¿Dónde está Rudy en estos momentos? ¿Qué saben de él?
Rudy ahorita está con una amiga de Jenny, la mamá, y estamos esperando que él viene con la familia.
You know, one of the things the chief just said in that press conference was that if you're watching yesterday, you know, Quanell X talked about that there were sexual assault allegations that his mother had sexually assaulted him, had drugged him, and the chief said there is no indication that that happened.
Let me interrupt on that. I'm going, hold on.
One at a time, sorry, I just want to make sure we hear you.
The chief is not going to know if those allegations are true or not unless Rudy had been taken to go get medically evaluated. It doesn't take, it doesn't take someone to have a degree to know that you are not going to know anything if you are not checked.
But of course, Rudy was in the hospital.
Rudy was not in the hospital. The pictures that Janie had been posting and giving to the media and everybody, are pictures from 2012 when Rudy was hospitalized. They are not from this past week. They are not recent pictures. So if higher authority would get their story straight and do the investigation like they're supposed to, they would know these things.
All right.
That he was sexually assaulted by
I
his
do
mother?
believe
You
that Rudy
so?
would not come out and say something like that. Rudy was a very shy, timid little boy.
But are you saying it's possible that that happened? You
Yes.
believe his mother was
Yes.
capable of that?
Yes.
¿Ustedes sí creen que pudo haber abusado sexualmente de él?
Yes. Yes. La mamá sí le hizo algo y nosotros no vamos a saber nada si no lo llevan con un doctor para que lo puedan checar.
Again, these are
El
Rudy's
chief of
aunts.
police y todos que están
It's
diciendo que
their nephew.
no saben o no pueden aclarar eso, no van a poder aclarar nada si no lo llevan con un médico.
Okay, let me
¿Qué
speak.
piensan de hoy de la conferencia?
Let me speak. I'm going to say this in English. Chief of Police could have brought out Quanell X's statement because my nephew Rudy Farias, who so-called quote unquote was missing since 8 years ago, 2015, and those fake hospital pictures were fake from 2012. Quanell's statement should have been brought up because Quanell is here to help. It's very rare that he would come out and speak up on behalf. And my nephew, Rudy, would have never talked if Janie was around, okay? Janie is a hypothetical liar.
She meant to say
manipulative.
pathological.
She knows a lot of people in the HPD. So I'm gonna have to say, I'm not quite sure, but I'm gonna have to say she knows a lot of people in HPD, and that's why her freaking ass has been covered up.
Her freaking ass.
No hay cargos en contra. No hay cargos. Dijo que no hay cargos ahorita. And that's the first thing. How
HPD.
is a mom going to do something to her child, knowing that that is very wrong and that's crucial? Okay, it runs in the family, in her family, and I'm very pissed off. And I don't want to bring my past up because of Santana's stepfather. And I'm sorry to say that I grew a hard life, but because of her father that sexually abused me. So it runs in her freaking family.
Oh my goodness.
Someone should be charged in this case.
Yes, there should be charges. Es lo que dijo ahorita hoy en el press conference, que no hay charges. Que van a hacer una
Pero ¿qué sienten de
investigación.
saber que no hay cargos en contra?
Estamos bien enojados. ¿Cómo no van a hacer nada? Ellos están diciendo que no van a hacer nada porque no hay pruebas. ¿Cómo chingas no van a ver si hay pruebas o no? Si no llevan a Rudy para que lo chequeen. Yesterday, when we were at the hotel, they had her, from what I believe, I didn't get there on time because I was doing other stuff. They had her in handcuffs. Why in the freaking world did they let her go while she was in handcuffs? Because they made one phone call to a district attorney, whoever he was, and said, "What? Let her go. There's nothing to follow any evidence."
Do you believe
Bullshit.
that she should be charged?
Yes.
Yes.
Not only with what she's
Bullshit.
done to Rudy, but falsifying that he
This is why I'm covering the case. These women right here.
Mexico, that he had been spotted in other states. She had people all over the United States looking for him because of her
Doing
false
this
names.
damn GoFunding me account.
GoFunding me account.
Fraudulently taking money when the son was there. And I don't mean to bring this up. God rest our mom in peace. But when my mom was under our home health where I work at, I would go visit her because she would never answer her freaking phone. I would go knock at her door. It would take Janie 20 minutes exactly, because I would time it to answer the freaking door. During the time, and my heart tells me something is going on, I would finally see my mom all dirty, malnourished, really filthy, and going in her bedroom so filthy that it was a shame.
Pauline, can I just ask you, investigators said over and over again that they had made contact with both Rudy and his mother over the past 8 years. They gave fake names on multiple occasions, both of them. Your reaction to hearing that?
If that was fake names giving because Rudy was coerced by his mom to lie, and she manipulated Rudy to say what it was. Once again, I'll bring the subject up. Had Quanell X not been there yesterday at the hotel and took Rudy aside to talk to him, Rudy then felt the comfortness to talk to Quanell X and bring every freaking thing that she did to our nephew. How in the hell is a mom going to do that to her own kids? Even my own mom, when she was alive, God rest her in peace, that we had to marry her because she couldn't take this shit anymore from Janie. You know, it's horrible. My mom would tell me in person, Rudy is here, Rudy is here. I would go and try to open the doors, and she would say, what are you doing there? I said, I'm just seeing if I left something behind or whatever. My mom never lied. She always said my mom had dementia. Yes, my mom finally got her Alzheimer's at 80-something years old. When my sister Sylvia finally took controlship of her. You know, this is hard, but we promised her mom we would make justice, that this would come to light.
Pauline, you believe that Rudy was a victim, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Totally victimized.
Can I say something in regards to
Wow.
the chief of police saying that numerous occasions
Told people that no, my mom just has dementia. Like, she just thinks that Rudy comes and talks to her like through God.
Aren't the police asking for ID, driver's license, something when a person gets pulled over? Aren't they supposed to have something,
Amen.
show something, proof of your name?
So
were they not asking this to know that these people are giving fake names, or were fake IDs or driver license presented?
So why do you think that they were so reluctant to talk about what was discussed? What Quanell told
Because I think the police are hiding something. They know that
Janie
they
comes
know
from a
there is
background of
proof.
HPD.
They know there is proof, and yes, Janie has a lot of contacts with the HPD.
I want to know how
department,
much overtime was
and
getting paid
people
for
up
not even
there,
working this case.
higher level people.
This all
are
screams money to
hiding
me.
The fact that Janie has done things, her ex-husband, Rudy's father, who also committed suicide because of his things that he was doing within the police department. So I know there are lots of officers, lots of DAs, judges that do their job. They do what they promise and swear to do, and there are the corrupt ones. And these people are hiding and lying for her. And right now, she's getting away.
I asked the chief upstairs if if HPD ever went.
Houston
back
has a huge problem on their hands.
to his house in the last 8 years, and they cut it off. The gentleman
Because
they
they
Yes.
didn't go.
They've been there one time when she used to live on Lee Road in Humble. They went one time
This
when
is
we
wild.
reported that Rudy was at that location.
So the HPD did make contact
Just one
once
time
at the
And-
home.
at the home.
On Lee Road, not on
Because
the valley.
finally someone's
Then one
listening to
time,
them. They've been trying to do this for a long time.
HPD.
Howard, what would you
I
do
can't
if you
remember
try to
his
save your
name, but
nephew
he
from
called me
abuse?
at my office on my
They
cell
have finally an
phone
opportunity.
to
They
tell
finally
me
have
if
someone
I
listening to
took a
them.
picture of Rudy in that house. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen Rudy since he has been missing.
Why would these women
And
do
as of
this
to
if
this
it's not
day
true?
today, I have not seen my nephew.
Do you guys have a
He
message?
sent me a picture. He says, well, can I send you a picture? I said, send me the picture. I want to see the picture. So he sent me the picture, and I have that picture here.
Can we see it?
Absolutely.
Do you guys have a message for Rudy if he's watching this
Can we
right
see this
now?
picture,
Yes,
please?
Rudy, if you're watching this,
Rudy,
let us help you.
if you're watching this, Mito, we love you. Your aunts, your cousins, we stand behind you, and we are right here with you. We love you.
Who do you hold at fault for this? Because obviously you guys have anger and frustration. Do you view it as HPD not doing it, or do you view it also the
HPD
DAs?
failed us.
I'm sorry, what?
HPD failed us.
The DA
That's what they
failed
did.
us yesterday. They had her. She was in handcuffs and she was released because they said they had no proven evidence, no factual evidence.
And I called
You
HPD.
cannot have
Here's the
factual
picture.
evidence if you do not take him to get checked.
That picture's what?
This is the picture that some HPD officer sent me because I requested the picture.
What is this picture? What is this?
Rudy in the kitchen of his mother's house in 2018.
I'm sorry, what?
Rudy, that's a picture of Rudy in his mother's house in 2018. That's when Janie was married to Robert Ortega.
Yes.
This is so messed up.
My next question is, Rudy, I do want to say, Rudy, because I'm home from watching TV, that so-called friend of Janie Santana, where he's at, Nikki Garza. Remember, you will be an accomplice. I've got pictures.
You
of
accomplice.
cars. I got license plates.
She got
I will
receipts.
turn those in, which I've already posted them on Facebook.
I want to have them on
And I
the
really
transparency.
hope that I do, but I would like for
Whatever you
HPD
need
to
that we can
see
help with.
is
Let's get some
make a
FOIA
report,
requests going.
Be on the lookout.
Let's see
for
who
those
was working.
cars and just run a report.
You know,
But
we
she's
know that-
always changing cars. I physically went after the airport. What was that hotel? Holiday Inn. I physically went to her house yesterday to snoop around. There were reporters there. I didn't do nothing illegal.
Good girl.
And Rudy, this is what I want you to find out, because I know that you've always carried it.
Look
very
at what she
good.
has, guys. This is
And I did find it because I know you've had it for many, many, many years. That more than likely grandma gave it to you.
she has a glove. She's about to put on a glove because she's not gonna
If you
mess.
can get away, if they're not forcing you
with
to
the
stay where
evidence.
you're at, and
She
if
puts
you
on
can
a
get
glove.
away, you know where to find us. You can call your Aunt Sylvia, which is your godmother.
Godmother. She puts on a glove.
You can call Abel, my son, which is your cousin.
We got evidence.
And this is what I found because I did go snooping around and I knew that you were there. You see this here?
She found his rosary.
Are those his rosary beads?
This is his rosary that he would always carry around his neck. Always.
And where did you find that?
I found it right in the front as probably his mom was rushing him to hurry up and get away from the neighborhood. So right
Back in the
now,
day.
Janie Santana has gone back. I have people within the areas on the lookout. They did call me at 12:30, 4:36 in the morning that she was in the neighborhood.
She wasn't in the neighborhood. She went home to load her car up with clothes and stuff to take. And we're also told that whatever the vehicle that she's driving right now, she's loaded. She's got 2 guns with her. She's got a car full, and she's gone and tried to convince or bribe Rudy into changing his story. She offered him thousands of dollars. She's offering the neighbors money
This
to
is
keep
crazy.
their mouths quiet and say that they're all lying about what
Neighbors
they've
did come to me yesterday telling me that she did offer each neighbor
This is
150, 250 per day or for whatever so that they won't say nothing. Okay, they were very honest. And one lady, I won't say her name, but she was on the news. She did come up to me when I was there in front of Janie Santana's house, acknowledging everything that I knew deep in my heart that he has always been there all this time. But people thought, and I'm going to find out who the first investigator was when I heard about the disappearance and I knew it wasn't right. Okay.
Find out. We'll find out for you.
This investigator, I don't know who it was, but private investigator, she got on the phone with me and called me every name in the book that I didn't want to see Janie finding her son, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, you know what? That day's going to come that everything's going to come out to light.
You know your
HPD
sister
said
probably-
that
Today's the day.
that he's an adult, that, you know, he made his choice to stay with her. How do you guys feel?
very upset. He wouldn't have said those things if he knew that Janie wasn't holding on him. And prior to them leaving the hotel yesterday, Janie had threatened him that had he not left with her, she was going to hurt herself and he was going to be without a mother. If he didn't change his story, that both he and she would end up in jail or prison because of what he told Quanell X. With my understanding, there was law enforcement in that same room hearing that conversation. So for the chief of police to say that they didn't hear anything and that it's just Quanell X, no, sir. Get it straight. Tell your people to tell the truth, speak the truth. I don't care what position you're in, how high you are up there, speak the truth. This kid is not a kid anymore. He's 25 years old, but he needs
But
help.
HPD said that
He's
at the
been in
time,
there.
HPD's position is that at the time he was 17 years old, which in the state of Texas
A,
makes you an adult.
male is considered an adult at the age of 17.
Let
It
me-
doesn't matter. He was forced and he was
Let me-
drugged.
He was drugged.
Forced to do what his mother told him to do.
Let me clarify
How
this.
is that not a crime? His mother has held him there under false pretense that if he reached out or looked for help, he was going to go to jail and something bad was going to happen to him. What is someone of his state of mind at that time? He may have been 17, but he still had the mind of a 10-year-old. Rudy was not a grown adult at that time. His mind wasn't. He was not anywhere near where he could be on his own.
Being
He did
coerced,
what his
being
mother told him.
manipulated, taking advantage of your own child that you raised. And Janie, I know you're listening to me, and you can come back and say that you're gonna have me locked up or get me in trouble or whatever. Stick that up to where the sunshine don't shine. I'm gonna say it in a nice way because your day is coming. We're almost there to get you. There's nowhere that you can run because I'm gonna make sure that your posters go all over. Don't even attempt to get into an airport and go anywhere because that's not going to happen.
What do you think motivated your sister? What do you think motivated your sister?
To do this? She's always been manipulative. She's had different husbands, different names. She even tried to use my name that I did whatever to her, which is falsifying.
She's a greedy person.
She's a very
always
greedy
been
person.
Greedy, self-centered, selfish.
It's
she
all
wanted-
about money.
She's always been after money. Any way she can.
How much
get
did she
money,
make off of all this
any way,
GoFundMes?
anything she has to do. She doesn't care who it hurts or what the outcome is, as long as she has the money for that time, and then she moves on to another way. My grandma, may God rest her peace.
Yeah, I want to help them. So
wouldn't
we
have
can
them
help them,
to
guys.
pay
We can
for
do
their
some
own.
public requests.
No.
We'll
When
get the
he was
train going.
growing
We're gonna
up,
see what we
he
can
was
get.
fun to be with. He grew
Body
up with his
cams.
cousins.
We're gonna
my
get them. We're gonna
children,
help them.
My sister's children, they all got along. And then all of a sudden, she just took controlship when my nephew had that motorcycle accident. And that's where some of his, his mind just went off.
So you had a motorcycle accident?
Also,
My oldest nephew.
after so long, you could be declared dead, can't
And
you?
then the dad killed himself, HPD, for whatever reasons. I don't know, citations or whatever.
And what are your names, ladies?
My name is Pauline Sanchez Rodriguez. I'm the oldest of the aunt here.
Oldest of the ants.
Michelle Rodriguez, I'm his cousin. First cousin.
Aw.
I have nothing to hide. And I know that this is all
She's-
coming about greediness, about money. She's bought another life insurance policy. I've got pictures on my phone. I did take pictures. I didn't take her mail because I know that's a federal offense, but it's not bad just to take pictures.
And you know, they say that the DA has not pressed charges yet, that they need to wait to complete their investigation before they proceed with this. Right now, Janie has a chance to get further away. She
They're
is
giving her the
fleeing.
opportunity.
They're helping her. They're giving her a head start when all
Thank
they
you.
had to do was bring her in and question her, bring Rudy in, take him to get evaluated, have medical records because he has not been in a hospital. He has not been checked since they got him from the church over there in Second Ward, in Magnolia. So, Chief of Police and whoever else is saying that y'all have to wait, thank you. You're giving Janie a head start.
Are you guys gonna try to get Rudy?
She's calling them out.
I would like for Rudy to come home with my aunt and for him to get.
I love women with some balls. These women,
For them, we would do what we need to do to get him the
we're
help
at your
he
service
needs
here.
so we can.
We're
take
on
care
it.
of him.
Of course, we're not going to do nothing illegal.
If anybody wants to help, be part of
But
it.
as I said, as I said yesterday, I called HPD.
I don't think these women are lying.
Out there to have the license plates run 2 different places.
I think that there's room
They
for them on
never
through the
showed up.
transparency.
And I called back.
There's some sleuths right here.
Dispatch or somebody from that HPD unit told me, we don't have any units. We don't have any units. So what? We don't have any units. But as soon as we get a unit, how long would that be? 2 or more hours. We waited there. Nobody ever showed up. I finally called back. I said, you know what? I'm tired of waiting. I'm going back to the other destination. I'll go do things on my own.
Saber lo que sucedió hoy, cómo reaccionó la familia.
What happened in the valley?
No, it's no, but so I have 3 of us. Got one in Houston, me in San Antonio, and then one in the it's gonna be Gilbert and some girl. I don't know. She starts next week. No, it's because I don't.
You don't know her.
She starts next week. Yeah.
Investigate.
No.
How are you? Okay, it looks like those statements from Janie Santana's sisters, the aunts of Rudy Farias, just wrapped up their statements. There is a lot to unpack here. They heard everything that was.
That they let her go while she was in handcuffs because they made one phone call to a district attorney, whoever he was, and said, what, let her go. There's nothing.
All right, guys, these women, they know what they're talking about. They've been on to their sister, their cousin, depending on their relationship, but it is family here that's talked. They know that this stuff has been going on in their family before, and they just basically want something done. They don't want her to get away with this. They don't want it to just be like, oh, he went missing. My question is you go missing, you return in 2 days. Well, you had Tim Miller in the research, his search team that goes out and looks for people. He's out of Texas. That's why I played this beginning video that I made, because how do the police, if they're searching and they're communicating with the family, how do you not see that the kid had come back? Especially if the mom's not around, if she's hiding this, her son, she lied to him and said, "Hey, you're going to be in trouble, so we have to hide you." It just wild. But clearly, in my opinion, people weren't doing their jobs, because how can this mother by herself hide anybody and everybody? I just don't like. I want to talk to Tim Miller. Tim Miller, you said you guys searched everywhere. You guys were at the house and doing this, and you didn't question, like, her story was off from the beginning. There was a lot of things that were off, and he, I think that's why when he was just interviewed recently, he said, "Yeah, I think that there's a lot of questions now. There's a lot of questions," and this is what I'm referring to, right here, where Tim. So this is the guy that runs a search.
Sightings in different places.
Miller says he never would have imagined Farias is still alive.
I think now, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of investigation to kind of see what happened, where it happened, how it happened.
Because they spent a lot of time looking, a lot of researchers, like, looking for him.
Rudy Farias was 17.
Then you got this right here, this is the activist that came out. This is the mom. So right here, if you guys want to see her face, you guys were talking about it.
Loading up a car in her driveway Tuesday night.
When he first went missing, he didn't report it to the police, and they're trying to say that he might have done some crimes, which he didn't. And now they want to arrest me because they said I was hiding.
Thank you there, Canadian Street Crime Buff.
Her 25-year-old son vanished 8 years ago at age 17.
Let's go get him. But that's her right there. Let's step on her picture.
Missing. He didn't report it to the police, and they're trying to say that he might have.
He didn't report it to the police, and I think what she's trying to say there is that, like, he wasn't missing anymore. Like, she's going to say, like, well, he's an adult, and okay, he's missing, but then he didn't go and report it to the police that he wasn't missing anymore. And they're basically the family's calling bullshit on all of this. Like, no, you've created this, and you kept telling people that he was missing. Okay. So, but then a gentleman came forward because they found him outside of a Houston church. And right here, this is who they're referring to, the activist right here.
When they found him, he had her credit card in his pocket. She just canceled that credit card 2.5 years ago. So if he's been missing for 8 years, how the hell did he get your credit card in his pocket? When they found him, she would take him to work with her, and he would do the required work she was supposed to do. And a lot of the responsibilities of her job was on him. No child should ever be treated like that by your own mother. This young man said that when he initially ran away, he came back 2 days later, and she told him that he had to hide, that he was going to get in trouble.
And they gave him a new name. So he was no longer being called Rudy. He was being called Dolphs, Dolphs, Dolphs. Again, I believe that this is all for money. I believe that this continued because of money, in terms of there was GoFundMes. But then when I heard the information of what the aunts were saying in terms of that she's being protected by police in a way, well, then my immediate thought was this a two-way type of scam? Were they given money to utilize department, funds to search, and and people weren't really doing that, and so because I don't know why anybody in the police department would be aiding something like that if they're not making something out of it. That's not how this works. You don't do something for somebody and then in return, in this type of a exchange, get nothing in return. That's just not how it works. So, but yeah, we're going to look into it. I think that nobody was listening to them for a long time, 8 years. But these women, these aunts are minorities in the community. And they finally, so if anybody wants to say like, why are they would ever air their dirty laundry, or they're finally being, you guys are finally being listened to. They finally have a platform to say this is what has been going on. And I'm a true believer in that when you uncover something, that other things can be uncovered from initially looking into something. So is this a situation that Houston has a huge problem on their hands because, you know, if parents could be doing this and for monetary reasons, I mean, think about all the times you donate to something for, especially for a child that's missing. So I know myself and the mods of TNT are behind helping these women. I think these women did a fabulous job doing this on their own to this point. And hey, I'm always in the category of the more the merrier if you're doing it for the right reasons. And I bet you we can help them pull some public requests and see what we can get our hands on. But I'm interested to know who was working in the initial stages of this. And Tim Miller, I mean, he's put what his whole think about. He could have been working on another kid's case and looking. And then the big question is, as everybody's been saying it, is if this was a girl and it was a guy and it was like a father-daughter type thing, that this would be handled completely different. And I totally see that as well. So this is just an intro video. I want you guys to look into it, because these aunts, in my opinion, they're awesome and they're fighters. And it hasn't probably been easy to do this with people not wanting to listen. And then can you imagine making your mother seem like has dementia way before she does, and that she's seeing things, but meanwhile she's like, yeah, I was talking to Rudy. I saw Rudy today. And then you're playing it off as, yeah, well, my mom has dementia, so she's probably talking about he came to her like in her dreams or something like that. Can you imagine doing that to your mom? I think the thought of that, and to make your mom seem crazy when she's not, I just don't think there's anything worse than that. Your mom gives you, life and takes care of you, and it's wow. Super sad. Super sad. So I think there's a lot of victims here, and I don't think it's just Rudy is the victim. I think that we're going to uncover a lot of victims if this gets properly and investigated and looked into. And so with that said, I think that Houston has a huge problem on their hands, and that they should be sitting in a room right now and consulting with people that can help them, because that press conference was it was just trash. And we know how internet sleuths are with cases, especially cases that involve kids. I mean, I get it that he was 17, but 17 is 17. My kid to me is always going to be my baby, even if he's 50. So whatever. But yeah, let's see what we can do. I want to thank you guys for popping in here. We're going to see what kind of information we can bring. And then I'll be live later tonight. It's a 2-part episode. So tonight's part 1 of the Brent Kapaka timeline and questions. So again, thank you guys. Thank you for that truth, transparency. These ladies are telling it for real. Yeah, they can just straight stick that where the sun don't shine. That was great. These ladies are like, they're my type of people. I'm gonna do everything I can. I want to talk to them. I want to interview them. I want to hear, because that was brief on probably all the stuff that's gone on. So I would love to hear all the wild stuff that's gone on for them for the past 8 years. And then again, thank you again there. The true crime buff from Canada there. Go get them, Lana. I know you and all the sleuths in here can help them. Well, thank you. I believe that we can too. And see, this is what it's all about, is working together and helping people like them. I think these ladies are amazing, and they didn't stop fighting. So again, thank you. And we will check you later. till next time, mods, love you guys, members. Oh, thank you there. Oh, wait, and we have a Spanish translator. So she said she can, Alice here said she will do whatever she can to make sure I get an A in Spanish. So thank you. But yeah, you guys are great. But we're going to see what we can do. And if anybody has any information on this, again, truth, you can email truth transparency 3 at Gmail. Also, do me a favor and make yourself known on this video. Like it. If you didn't like it, I mean, you can thumbs it down as well. But the more that this can generate and be passed around to people, share it, the more that we can, it reaches somebody that can help in some capacity. So that's how it works. So thank you guys. Hopefully I spelled that right when I spell my own email, but thank you, Alice, there on that super chat and sticker as well. You guys rock. But let's get to town. Let's do what we can do. We can talk soon about this. And like I said, email if you have anything. I think there's a lot of fraud going on over, and then, but for me, this stuff about abuse, just wow. All right, guys, take care until next time.